Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slash Film Daily for April 24th, 2018. This is Peter Sciretta, editor-in-chief of SlashFilm.com, and joining me on today's podcast is...
Steve Weintraub from Collider.com.
And we are here at the 2018 CinemaCon, which is the gathering of the theater exhibitors. It's where all the movie theater exhibitors come to see presentations from the studios of their upcoming year-long slate. And we're going to talk about that right now. So Disney was showcasing their next year of movies, starting with Infinity War. Should we talk about that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So just to be clear, we're not going to do any spoilers on Infinity War, but both of us saw it last night in Los Angeles and then flew this morning here to Vegas. I thought the film is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I loved it. You can read both of our reactions on both of our sites, I'm
totally,
sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if we should waste our time here, but they did showcase a clip from Infinity War from early on in the movie when...
I want to be very careful. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but it is very early in the movie, and it involves Guardians.
What's in all the trailers?
Oh, is it?
So if you've seen the trailer, it's when Thor meets the Guardians.
Yes, it's that basically full scene, and theater was laughing. It is really, really well done, and if you learn about it, it's very close to the beginning of the film.
And my favorite parts of this movie are Thor and the Guardians, and the interplay between those guys, and seeing them, interact, and just gold.
Yeah,
it's comedy gold.
Yeah, I can't say enough positive things about Infinity War. I don't want to talk about spoilers till you guys have seen it, or talk specifically.
And it comes out this week, so you don't really need to know that much more. But we should talk about Ant-Man.
One thing, though. Avoid all spoilers on Infinity War. This movie deserves you to walk in not knowing anything. Now let's move on to...
100% agree. I do want to say, having seen the film, I totally understand why Disney screened the movie for press days before its release and did not show it before the junket, because if we had our job to do and had to do interviews with this cast, it would have been a disaster of spoilage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would have had to apologize, but those were the questions you would have to ask. Anyways, okay. Moving on to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, so Disney showed us the brand new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, which could be attached to Avengers Infinity War this weekend, or it could be coming out in a week or two. Yeah. But it is a way better trailer and totally looks like a really, really fun movie with great banter, huge action scenes. It looks way bigger than the first one.
Yeah, no, there was some great stuff with like Giant Man riding cars down the street in San Francisco, and there was like this great team up scene with the Wasp in a kitchen where like they're playing with scale. It just looked like a lot of fun.
Also, they introduced Lawrence Fishburne as an old associate of Michael Douglas's character. Yeah. And there's like a debate between whether or not who had a bigger giant man. And Lawrence Fishburne is like, I got to 20 feet. And Scott's like, I got to 65. So it's like a whole, that thing. But ultimately, if you liked the first one, this looks like a way bigger version of the first movie in terms of also learning, because the first movie you have to figure out how we're going to make the effects look. How are we going to figure out Giant Man? How are we going to have the interplay between the characters? And it's like they learned from Civil War and from Ant-Man what audiences like, what they can do, and it's on full display in the trailer.
Yeah, I just love the action scenes that play with the scale. I think that that chase sequence that we see in the trailer, it's just dealing with miniature to maxiture,
and also, Evangeline Lilly looks like a complete badass in this movie and makes
Paul Rudd?
Yeah, thank you. Makes Paul Rudd look like amateur hour. Like Evangeline looks like she's a professional, kick-ass criminal, takedown person, and it looked great. Nothing but positives.
The next thing they showed was a behind-the-scenes featurette on Christopher Robin, which gave us a better look at this fish out of water story, where it's like Christopher Robin is an adult and it takes Pooh and the friends to London, to the city, out of 100 Acre Wood. It looks interesting. I'm not quite sure who this movie is for.
Well, I think it's
Is it for kids?
I think it's partly for kids because it's going to have animated, characters, and also for adults that are trying to, remember their childhood. So it's one of those feel-good kind of films, but the footage we saw was very rough and in animatic form at times, and it was just like more behind-the-scenes footage rather than like a full-on trailer. But I'm a huge Ewan McGregor fan, and, it'll be interesting to see.
And there's been a trailer out there, but it looks kind of muted, not like appealing to kids. Like if I was a kid, I wouldn't be like excited about this rendition of Pooh. It looks
I think animated movies, once you put Disney animation, Winnie the Pooh, everyone's going for families.
I mean, I'm interested in it. So
Sure.
there you go. The next up is a movie I'm not interested in, and that is Nutcracker and the Four Realms. They showed a featurette.
Sure. For people that don't realize, forgetting about the movie for a second, I almost don't want to talk about it because it looks to me like another version of A Wrinkle in Time, and I was almost like, oh no, is this going to be like another, and I didn't see
It looks like Wrinkle in Time meets Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton one. That's what it looks like.
Something along those lines. Look, I know they did test screenings of it recently, but I didn't speak to anyone that saw it. It looks to me like it's a kid's movie. I mean, hopefully kids like it. Let's move on to the next thing.
They're trying to pitch it as like a future beloved Christmas classic.
Yeah, I don't like when people say that.
that.
Yeah, when the studio is like, this is a future classic, I'm like, show me the movie first, and then you can actually mention future classic. Let's get into some of the good stuff.
They showed like a Mary Poppins trailer. I'm not sure if this is...
It's the same trailer.
Is the same trailer that was online?
Or maybe a slightly extended version.
I think they had some extra stuff, but I don't know. I'm not sure if you're excited for this movie. I am. I'm a fan of the original.
I am very excited for this.
And this like perfectly captures the tone and feel and the magic of the original.
Yeah, I'm all in. Emily Blunt is Mary Poppins, all in. Lynn, all in. Everything about Mary Poppins Returns, I'm all in. Everything I've seen, sold. So yeah, I mean, all of you guys, I'm sure you're going to be seeing it too. But let's
move on to Tim Burton's live-action Dumbo, which
so this is the first footage I think they've ever shown from the set.
Yeah, I think they showed like some concept art at D23, but I think this might be the first footage.
This is the first time I saw any footage of Michael Keaton and the whole cast, Eva Green. The one thing that we learned, because I didn't do any sort of set visit, is that the animated movie ends with Dumbo flying.
Yeah.
And apparently this movie begins with Dumbo flying. So it's what happens after that.
And it's interesting, too, because I feel like Tim Burton has gotten too Tim Burton-y recently, and this takes it down. It's a little bit muted for Tim Burton. Like, sure, his touches and style are there, but it's not like in your face like it was with Alice in Wonderland.
Completely. And it looks, for me, I'm all in on this. And it looked really, but you're right. It didn't look like Tim Burton went to Tim Burton land. It looked like he brought Tim Burton to Dumbo, but didn't, like it's the Dumbo story with some Tim Burton.
Yeah. And Danny DeVito looked amazing in it.
Completely.
And, they didn't show Dumbo fly. I think we saw Dumbo fly.
There was no footage of Dumbo flying because clearly it's VFX.
Yeah, they showed some concept art.
And the thing is, like, you only have one time to make your first impression. And if we go back to, and I'm going to go back in history, Green Lantern, DC, they released that trailer way too soon. The footage looked terrible, and everyone rebelled against the movie. Mind you, the movie wasn't good, but Dumbo, you have only one time to make the first impression. They want to get it right. They want to make sure that people believe,
Yeah, and next up was a sizzle reel for Aladdin. Oh my God.
Yes.
Guys, this actually looks pretty good. I was like, this is a film I was not excited for. It looks like it has the vivid colors, the bright colors of like Indian films and Bollywood-style dances and parkour-style, like modern action of Guy Ritchie. Yeah,
it looks like it really looks like the cartoon come to life with a Guy Ritchie flair. So it has the Guy Ritchie action. It had some handheld stuff. It had the chase and they built a whole city apparently, and it really looks like Aladdin. And the highlight for me though, that we did not hear Will Smith singing, but we saw all these different costumes and this facial hair and the way he looked, and he really looked like he was channeling Robin Williams' Genie in real life. And it looks like he is singing and dancing and going like 110%, like with energy.
See, I didn't get that feeling. By the way, a lot of people tweeted me after I tweeted my reaction to this, and they were like, "Is he blue?" No, Genie's not blue. It looks like Will Smith. He has like a, what do you call that, ponytail on top of his head?
Yeah, but he has a few different looks.
Yeah, well, he changes throughout those kind of vignettes or whatever you want to call them. But to me, he seemed like, I mean, we didn't see much of his performance, but like the little bits we did, it didn't seem like as over the top.
No, the best thing I think I can say about it, and hopefully you agree, is that it looked like Aladdin in real life. And the greatest thing about this, and it sounds so stupid, but I just got to say it, I am so appreciative that they cast people that look the part and not two white people to play these two roles. These iconic roles deserve to be played by the people with the correct ethnicity, and I'm very happy that Disney did this.
And I hate to say this, but as a person who loves films like Moana, or like where Disney does a great job of taking a culture and kind of presenting it in a Disney-fied way. Sure. And like this immediately, like in the first 10 seconds of this clip, I was like, oh my god, this is Disney's India, or do you know what I mean? This is gonna be, Coco, what Coco does or Moana does. Like this looked really like. There's
not going to be a rebellion from people saying this was what's the term,
whitewash.
Yeah, well, too white. Like they cast real people that deserve to be cast are in this movie. Look, all I can say is I thought the footage looked great. Cannot wait to see more.
And I'm happy. I know you feel like he's doing Robin Williams, but I'm happy that he seems to be doing Will Smith.
Sure, but
it seems to me like Genie's like they're not trying to copy, or they're not trying to like totally reproduce what Robin Williams did. It like feels like a Will Smith.
Sure, and I don't want to come across like he is just copying Robin Williams. It just seems like the genie is being brought to life in that huge way, the way that Robin Williams did it.
For sure. And next up was...
there's a few highlights that we haven't gotten to yet.
Incredibles 2.
This is one of the highlights we haven't gotten to yet.
We saw the opening sequence from Incredibles 2, which takes place seconds after the ending of the first film. So if you saw that, it's with them encountering the Underminer, and it's shown from an interesting point of view, and we get to see the family working together in a way that, like, we didn't see in live action until, like, Civil War.
I don't know about you. I had a smile on my face the entire time. With the music, Frozone, everything that was on screen. I am so excited for this movie. It's like, it's so funny. We all talk about sequels and prequels and what we want to see. Like, I wanted another Incredibles, and I'm so happy it's coming out this summer.
I agree.
The footage looked fantastic.
Next, they showed a scene from Wreck-It Ralph 2. What is the name of that? Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Listen, I'm a big fan of Disney, and everyone involved with Wreck-It Ralph, I hate this title. It's Wreck-It Ralph 2.
It's a horrible title.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Actually, no, it's Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Right. So I've said
the fact that we write about film and we can't.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. The title should have been Super Wreck-It Ralph, because if they based it on Wreck-It Ralph was like an early 80s game. All the games in the 80s and their sequel was Super Mario Brothers, Super Contra. Yeah. So I wanted it to be called Super Wreck-It Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph 2, but whatever, that's me complaining.
This is the scene that they showed us is a piece of scene they showed at D23 Expo. I know you didn't see it there.
I did not see it.
Do you want to describe it to me?
Yeah, I want to go in on this one. This was
so if you don't want to know anything about the scene, it's going to be in all the advertising. But if you don't want to know about the scene,
I will do
skip ahead on my thing.
I'm gonna do this as very spoiler free. Yeah. I'm not going to reveal everything. They have revealed that there is a scene, or the filmmakers have already revealed there's a scene involving all the Disney princesses, where they got all the people to come back and who voice these characters for a scene.
And they're in one room together.
Totally. And Vanellope, that's how you pronounce it, right?
Vanellope, yeah.
Yeah. She comes into the room, and none of them believe she's a princess. Suffice it to say, they work it out, and there is the most amazing banter between these characters and jokes that come at the expense of Disney, at the expense of these characters.
Pixar,
everything.
Yeah.
I was laughing out loud multiple times. It was amazing. It was the best footage I saw today. If you're a fan of Wreck-It Ralph and if you're a fan of Disney, this scene you will absolutely love.
It is hilarious. It's unlike anything in Wreck-It Ralph. It doesn't even feel like a Wreck-It Ralph movie, but obviously has Penelope. But it's hilarious. It feels like it feels like they're doing like a backdoor, like Roger Rabbit kind of thing with this movie.
There's even, if I'm not mistaken, a Batman joke from the animated series back in the the live action from the 60s.
Yeah. I'm not even sure that was in the D23 footage. This is more finished. It's like more like, I think there was animatics and stuff in the footage that I saw at D23. This was like almost finished.
The footage was, and I'm not sugarcoating this or exaggerating, it was amazing. It was just amazing, and it makes me so excited for this movie. And if you're a fan of, Disney movies and all these Disney princesses, you're going to lose your mind. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Now, everybody's listening to this, watching this, and they don't want to hear about Dumbo. They don't want to hear about the Nutcracker. They want to hear about Solo, a Star Wars story.
Sure.
So finally, let's get to Solo, a Star Wars story. They showed a clip from the movie that involved Han Solo's first meeting with Lando.
Yes.
He's introduced to him, and they need a ship, and Han is going to try to win the ship over in a game of Sabacc.
Yes, and Han comes in with Chewie. Emilia Clarke is leading them in. They play a game. I don't want to go too far, except to say there's some fantastic banter. Looked fantastic, the scene.
It's set in like almost like not the cantina Tatooine from
another version of the cantina,
a scum and villainy, like filled with. If I was a kid and I was watching this movie, I would need to have all those action figures.
Yes.
The tone and the feel of this is dead on. Ron Howard has got it.
Yes, and then after that scene, which that's the most we'll say about it, they showed us trailer stuff, sizzle reel. It looks fantastic. Like, it straight up looks like Star Wars, and it just looks cool, and I mean, I cannot wait,
Yeah, my only complaint about this movie...
I want to hear the complaint.
Is it seems like it's everything. I know what's going to happen in the entire movie. I could like plot it out from like it seems like it's like all the stuff that like has already like happened in like the books and stuff.
See, I haven't read. Here's the thing: I haven't read the books, and
that's not a complaint, but it seems like a simple story. I think you could guess like, then he gets the Falcon, and then he does the Kessel Run, and then
100%. I don't think there's going to be. I think there'll be a few surprises in this that we're not expecting, because I know there's a few surprises that people are not expecting, but the overarching arc of the story,
when this is over.
The overarching story of this film is what you already know, and there's not going to be a huge surprise, but it looks like a lot of fun.
It just seems so delightful, and Donald Glover as Lando gets the way he pronounces Han's name, to just everything, like his attitude, perfect.
Yeah, if I had
seen... I'm not sure about Han yet.
Yeah, if I had seen any footage before today, I would say that I was very happy. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other footage before today?
They ended the presentation with footage from Jon Favreau's Lion King. It was proof of concept footage. We saw this at D23. I'm not sure if you saw it.
I did see it. It's the Circle of Life, beginning of the movie. And when I saw it at D23,
it should be said for people that don't know the context of it. It looks like a Disney nature film. Like, literally, even this time, when I knew I was watching CG, I was like, they just use footage from the Disney nature film. Yeah, and then you get to Rafiki and whatever, and it's clearly the best CG I've ever seen.
And what's funny, it's the beginning of the movie. You see, Simba being held up. You see all the creatures bowing. You hear the Elton John score. The first time, and I seriously have goosebumps again. The first time I saw it at D23, I lost my mind. I was practically crying. I was like,
I looked around me and people were in tears.
Yeah, no, I lost my mind the first time I saw it. Like, lost my mind. And if I had not seen it before today, that would have been the best footage I saw. But I'd already seen it. I will say I still got goosebumps. Didn't tear up, but this movie will make all the money. Lion King. If it is what the footage is representative of what Jon Favreau is going to do with the material, just hand over your money. It's going to make all the money. It looks unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. But because I'd already seen the footage, The Wreck-It Ralph 2 was my number one.
Yeah. I mean, looking over the stuff that they showed us from this next year, and before they get into that, they go over the numbers of how much money Disney has made at the box office last year.
All the money.
Which is like, all the money. They're going to make all the money this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, well, they made like 7.5 billion 2 years ago, which is an industry record. Then last year they made over 6 billion. So it's an industry record to make over 6 billion 2 years in a row. But here's the thing, like, they have Marvel, they have Pixar, they have Lucasfilm, they have Indiana Jones, they have everything. So they have these iconic IPs that they can produce throughout the year. And as long as they produced quality movies, they will continue to hit these box office records because, I mean, like, you look at Black Panther, it's $1 billion. Avengers Infinity War is going to make $1 billion. You know, they have all the cards. You know, what's interesting, though, about the presentation today, which is a sidebar, is, of course, they talked about preserving the theatrical experience because ultimately Disney makes a shitload of money with the theatrical experience. But what they're not talking about is the $50 billion they made last year in merchandise, or the fact that they're getting ready next year to launch a streaming service, which is, they didn't touch on that at all, but they are aiming to go after...
Not just a streaming service, but they're going to produce original movies that are not like cheap direct-to-DVD movies. Like, they're producing like high-quality original movies for the streaming service.
Listen, here's what's coming on the streaming service, just to be clear. They made a huge Disney movie called Noelle with Anna Kendrick, right to the streaming service. They're launching a Star Wars show, streaming service.
A Marvel show they announced?
A Marvel. Like, all of these IPs that they have are going to be ending up on the streaming service. So while while maintaining the theatrical window is obviously imperative to the studio because of how much money it is and because of that's where ultimately so many people get their stuff. But as the years go on, more and more people are going to get comfortable streaming. And more, you know, them getting $10 a month, whatever the price point is, if they can do 100 million people like Netflix paying $10 a month, that's crazy money.
And now that you add Fox into that deal, possibly.
All of that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
it's going to be insane.
All of it. Anyway, look, the Disney presentation was fantastic. Did a great job.
I wish they had shown some stuff we hadn't seen in those previous conventions, but it was all great.
Sure.
There's no complaints anywhere. Sure. Later today we have Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is going to be at 4 o'clock, and I will tell you that I'm 100% sure seeing footage. I don't want to say from what because I don't want to spoil it, but we're seeing some stuff later today that I know people are going to want to talk about. So we will be back to talk about Warner Brothers at around 5:30 or 6 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah. So keep watching both of our feeds, both of our sites, Slash Film and Collider.
Absolutely.
We'll be providing you with all the coverage from CinemaCon 2018. Thanks for listening.
Cool. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much.